Welcome to another episode of Ag, Ammo, and Adventure, where the stories are rich, the science is sizzling, and the meat is always smoked to perfection. Today we've got something cooking for you, figuratively and literally. Before we fire up the smoker with our guests, we've got a couple of announcements and a challenge or two that you won't want to miss.
First up, the AAA Ag, Ammo, and Adventure is looking to be in the 2026 Iowa State Fair Parade. That's right. We're bringing the heat, the humor, and the heart of Iowa straight to the streets. And we need our followers. Right now we're calling you the Liars Club. We're going to need input on that as we go along to show up in force. Bring your signs, your cheers, and maybe a smoked sausage or two. Let's make some noise. Second, we're throwing down the gauntlet. AAA is challenging the New Heights podcast. Yes, the Kelsey brothers, to a full-blown podcast off. Todd, Father, I don't know what a podcast off, but we're going to do it. So
I'm not sure we're going to have to worry about whether or not it happens, because we haven't invited them and they don't know that we exist yet. So we're just saying there's a chance.
That's the best surprise ever. But here's our proposal, Liars Club. First, we're going to do a punt, pass, and catch contest. Let's see if they can throw more than just hot takes. Second, we're going to do a rifle, clay pigeon, and archery showdown, because precision matters on the mic and in the field. The last part of it is going to be a barbecue and smoked meats cook-off. Winner gets bragging rights and a year's supply of Iowa or Ohio pride. So, Travis and Jason, if you're listening, we're ready when you are.
Bring it, fellas, bring it.
All right, now that the smoke is cleared and the challenges have been laid out, let's get to the heart of today's episode. Have you ever wondered what goes behind the scenes at a legendary Iowa meat locker? If you do, we have the answers for you today. Joining us is a man who knows his way around the meat locker better than most know their way around the kitchen. He's a craftsman, a community guy, and part of the legacy behind one of Iowa's most respected meat markets. And he's not just slicing and smoking, he's leading. As president of the Iowa Meat Processors Association, Lucas Van Wyk is helping shape the future of Iowa's meats industry, supporting local meat processors, advancing quality standards, and keeping the spirit of small-town craftsmanship alive and well. So here's a big shout-out to the Iowa Meat Processors Association, an organization that champions the hardworking folks behind Iowa's finest cuts, cures, and creations. To learn more about the Iowa Meat Processors Association and to find your local provider, please go to iowameatprocessors.org. Now, Todd, Father, let's welcome Lucas Van Wyk of the Ulrich Meat Market in Pella, Iowa.
This is awesome, Lucas. Thanks for being here today. And just the reason why we're thinking this is such a good idea is I'm a farm kid and grew up with lockers everywhere in small towns. And they were all great people, and they were there for a long time. And then the communities in Iowa changed. People moved here, there, and everywhere. And they were harder to find. And we even got to the point where we had to drive farther. And once you find a good locker, they do a fair deal. They do a great job at packaging it. A lot of it's cow-calf operation. People hold their own livestock back, feeding kids and families. And then not as many farmers did that. Cow-calf is kind of something that's not across the entire state. We have feeding operations, but these lockers in these local areas, they provided a custom meat staple, protein staple that kind of, it was kind of gone for a while, but now it's kind of come back. Tell us about how you got started in your journey.
Well, I own this place with a friend of mine. Say about 10 years ago this week, actually, we had an opportunity and we looked at this place at buying it and had about a week to make a decision on whether we wanted it or not. And 10 years later, here we are.
Todd, that sounds like most of our decisions where we think, it takes us 2 days so we can act. So
Definitely falls in the good idea category.
right?
Good.
So Lucas, who's your partner out there? Who's the partner of the Ulrich Meat Market?
So Jamie and Nikki Vistra have joined me on this journey with Ulrich's Meat Market, continuing the legacy of the smoked meats here. Well, I want to thank them greatly for jumping in and taking this big journey with me.
Well, along those lines, Lucas, what made you and Jamie and Nikki decide to buy the meat market? Was it, as Todd and I, sometimes we have an epiphany and all of a sudden we discuss amongst yourselves, did you have that epiphany? Or was it something that, hey, nobody's had this for a while, we think this is a great idea?
Well, we were also deer hunters and had been processing our own meat actually for a year or two. Couldn't quite find the right locker to get us exactly what we wanted, so we were kind of doing and experimenting with deer meat on our own. Nikki and Jamie were grinding up some ground deer and pork and sausage. I was smoking some jerky, experimenting with my own beef sticks, and so felt like we knew everything we needed to know about meat. We were ready to go. So had an opportunity, seen the meat market here in Bella was up for sale, and took a look at it. Everything was here, ready to roll for the most part. And we took a week to think about it, ponder it, run some numbers, see if we were ready for that kind of commitment. And
Well, now, you said you guys were deer hunters, so we're going to have to ask you, did you have a nickname while you were deer hunting, Lucas? I mean, everybody's got a nickname.
Well, I don't know what my nickname was in the group, but I'm sure I'll find out. But yes, I completely understand the whole nicknames of everybody and why they have them. So makes perfect sense.
So you said you had a week. The three of you had a week to decide if you were going to take the biggest jump of your adult life. Did you talk a lot? Not very much. And then when did reality set in? Was it after you signed the papers and you were taking it over, or?
probably reality is when the last day of our previous job, I was in metal manufacturing and had no bad qualms with that job. It was just looking for something on my own, I guess. And Jamie was in sales, so we felt like I had manufacturing experience, he had sales experience. Could have been a perfect match.
So we're in the Ulrich Meat Market. You kept the name through the transition to your ownership. How did the Ulrich Meat Market get started? You have a little history for us.
Yes, so in 1868, over 150 years ago, John Ulrich immigrated from Germany, began selling his bologna, ring bologna that he made at home, peddled it down the streets of Pella, selling it to his customers. By 1900, he had grown big enough that he needed a bigger facility, and he bought land on the Pella Square and built this building that we are currently in today, that's been here for 125 years now.
That's amazing, Lucas. You said it was idle for about a year. Then you guys came in and started running it again. Was it turnkey? Did you have recipes? Did you, how much was turnkey, and how much did you guys have to say, oh my gosh, we got to get this, that, and do this?
For the most part, it was turnkey. We just had to learn how to turn the key. That was the hardest part. So,
Nothing like learning on the job, right?
Exactly. We had previous employees come in, kind of show us a few things of how they did things. We spent a couple days at local meat lockers that were willing to let us come into their facility and kind of just watch them make product to give us a little more sense of how things work, how it happened.
How often did they check on you? So there was not an ad in the paper that said we have new owners. You showed up, nobody was here, you had the only key that worked, and then all of a sudden somebody knocked on the door, and they were either there to confirm that you showed up or to make sure you didn't screw it up. And I mean that in a loving way.
We had several folk from around town that we would sample our product that we were testing before we opened to say, hey, is this what you remember? We want to be as close to what it was before.
Tradition with it.
Exactly. Tradition was big to us. We wanted to keep that same flavor as best we could. Now, obviously, with new owners, new people doing it, there's going to be a little bit of change, but we did the best we could with what we had to keep the tradition alive and the same.
So let's talk. So you took it over 10 years ago. So 9 years and 9 months ago. Give us an idea of how much you were able to get done. I gave you the first 100 days for free. You had figured you knew where the light switches are by that point.
Well, and they didn't cut their fingers off in the first 100 days,
Right, I already had 10 digits. But so you had your feet underneath you. You were getting started.
Well, the first 2 months, it was literally me and Nikki. Jamie stayed working in his current sales job for a couple months, kind of just to finish off a busy season in his sales area, and just to make sure we could get this thing going before he jumped in also. So it was, for the first couple months, it was me and Nikki. I was making stuff in the back. She was running the sales floor on her own. When I got down in the back, I'd run up front and then try to help her with a few things and help with sales up there. But yeah, I was grinding and stuffing and doing pretty much everything, one or two of us back here.
Do you remember the first handful of products that you started selling? And what were they, if you remember?
Obviously, with Ulrich, it was bologna. Yeah, we definitely had bologna on the shelf. We had sticks on the shelf. We tried to have a vast majority of what we had recipes for on the shelf. We have since grown that a little bit to more flavors and more other products. We do have a small retail store, so the growth is kind of limited for the most part for right now. So, but yeah, we tried to have the staples of Ulrich's past here ready to go first day one.
So 160 years the Ulrich name has been here. It was closed for a year, but you opened it up again. So almost people had to be cheering you on. The tradition, as you mentioned it before, people stopping by. Pella is a holiday town.
Yes.
Many times a year, and you're on the square, which is awesome. How many times did people come in and say, I'm glad you opened it up?
We heard it every day for
Cool.
who knows how long.
Probably still here.
Yeah.
The old timers.
Yeah, this town square in Pella is very vibrant. A lot of small towns, their town squares are dying, but Pella has done a great job of keeping it alive, keeping it full of stores. We have a lot of traffic in this town. Most of the week, Saturdays, parking is limited. It's hard to find a parking spot on Saturdays to shop in downtown Pella. So the city's done a great job of keeping this alive, and with people come sales, and that's what keeps us going here.
When I suspect that you're a Pella kid through and through, born and raised here with the last name Van Wyk.
Yes, I actually grew up on a dairy farm outside of Pella. Milked cows with the family till I was out of high school. So yeah, we raised dairy cows, had hogs on the farm. I raised rabbits for 4-H projects. So yeah, I was fully immersed in the ag industry. I have a brother who is still in the dairy industry. I have another brother who is a mechanic in the ag industry, and my sister continues farming the ground that my parents own with her and her husband. So our family is still very deep in the ag industry.
Is your name always on the list on what to bring for family dinners on Alpha Days?
Yes, I have supplied a lot of stuff for family dinner.
Do you remember how big the dairy herd was? How big the swine herd was? As a former milker myself, I helped farms. We only had 34 to 36 milk cows that we would milk, and getting up at 4 a.m, start milking, and then milk them at 6 p.m. was a long day.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. I got to jog my memory a little bit, but I believe Dad milked right around 50 head twice a day. My brother actually joined the dairy, and they grew it substantially after that for a certain time. We had a weather storm that came through and damaged our milk barn, so we ended up having to either rebuild or get out of it. So yeah, I've experienced farm life for most of my life.
So we're 1 year into it. You're figuring out how everything's going. What was the biggest difference between what you thought you were going to do and the reality of what could be done when you started? Because you had a good idea that you debated for a week on how you were going to do it.
I can't really say for sure. Obviously, we have big dreams when we start our own business. So, we dream big, and we want to go as big as we can, and we want to sit back and watch it run. And so it's been a lot of hard work. At some point, we hope to get there, but we're still very much involved in the day-to-day stuff.
So at what point did you get to full capacity for what the meat market is, the Ulrich Meat Market?
I would say probably 3 to 4 years into it. We've been running probably at capacity for the past 5+ years.
So what is that capacity? Just numbers, because we're talking about Pella, people coming here, 160 years. What have you done to change and expand? How are you coping with everybody who's coming?
Well, and to put it in perspective, Todd and I got here late afternoon, and I'll bet we saw 30 people walk by in the 5 minutes it took us to walk across the square to get in here.
So on a weekly basis, we make a lot of our products every week, just to keep shelf life as fresh as possible. We make sticks every week. We make bologna every week. We make summer sausage every week, and a lot of the other stuff every other week or varying as needed. So on average, I would say we process around 5,000 pounds of meat through our facility each week.
I just want to put it in perspective because Todd asked you how long for the decision and to get the fully going. It took us about a year after we talked about having a podcast until we had a podcast. So we've talked about this. Ideas are easy for us. We can do the ideas. It's the follow through and the commitment that we have. So you're well ahead of Todd and I. Lucas. Not that that's a low bar, but you set the bar high. Yeah.
And look at the dream. So that's cool. So what's the biggest change you've made to get to this capacity of what the meat market is?
So probably some of the biggest change we've made is equipment. Updating equipment to more efficient equipment, make things easier for our employees, make better products with newer technology and that sort of thing. I mean, we started with one meat grinder and one stuffer. As you can see behind you, we now have 2 meat grinders that saved a lot of grinding a bunch of meat and then going back through and mixing it. So now we can grind right into the second one, mix, go right into stuffing.
What is your favorite product to make? And what product, if it disappeared, you would not lose a night's sleep, but you can't?
Oh man, that's tough. I love making a variety of stuff. If you come through here in the mornings, I'm usually standing in front of the stuffer, so that's kind of my go-to machine and where I spend a lot of my time. So stuffing any of the various products is enjoyment of my day.
Well, the Pella ring bologna is a big fan favorite in my household. So keep making that because I think I've got an order that I have to fulfill before I leave. Or else there'll be disappointment when I get home. More disappointment when I get home.
I was just going to say, everybody, this is shared on the World Wide Web weeks after this interview. So catching us later to think that we have product is not going to work out for you. But so in walking through the store to get back here, obviously we glanced at the case and might have picked up some goodies. What is the worst flavor that you ever tried in a meat stick that you thought would be good but never turned out? Because I picked up the blue cheese one, and they're a favorite of mine every time I'm around. So glad to be here and have another supply. But what good idea with Sal?
Well, we do a lot of testing of different products.
Do you need volunteers?
I definitely am looking for volunteers. Usually my golf league buddies are my go-to taste testers. So, but most everything we usually is pretty edible the first time we make it. Now we do some tweaks and stuff to get it just a little better. There was one that's sticking in mind. We tried to do a Bloody Mary beef stick, and I don't know if it was the fifth of vodka that I put in it that was a little too much, but that didn't quite turn out as well as I would have hoped.
Well, do you take walk-in suggestions? I can imagine you get a lot of people coming in. I'm sure Todd now will give you some suggestions of, boy, it'd be really nice if somebody made this.
I don't know. There are a lot of options out there. I'm just going to keep grabbing or picking some. That's no takers, even from golf friends, huh?
No, I didn't have very many of those. I think made it to the dumpster. They didn't. They weren't very good.
There you go. Okay, so then what's been the most successful product that you've developed through your ownership?
Probably one of the ones that we developed. We've got a couple jerky flavors that I developed on my own. Actually, back when I was doing deer processing of my own with the deer jerky, I kind of developed that. That's probably, that is basically from scratch, trial and error, a little bit more of this, a little bit less of that type of thing until I got it to where I liked it. But yeah.
Hey, that's the only opinion that matters, Lucas. As long as you like. Coming from a meat scientist, you just keep it. Do you remember what flavors they were?
So that's our sweet and salty or sweet and spicy.
Oh,
Yum. Nice. All right. I'm picturing you've been here for 10 years, and you're. I'm going to use the word guru, but you know what you're doing. Every now and then, I'm sure there's somebody who walks in and says, "Hey, have you ever thought about blah blah blah?" Or "Have you ever tried this blah blah blah?" Does that happen? Or am I just the type of person? There aren't many people like that. Just me.
Don't get a lot of those. We do occasionally get people, suggesting you should try this or you should try doing that. Right now, it is hard for us because we are at capacity. So the research and development availability is very limited. There's just really not a lot of time and capacity to try some real extravagant things. So we usually try to stick with what we know for right now, maybe tweak some flavors of what's already running to get some new flavors of current sticks or bologna or that sort of thing. So
I went to the Iowa State Fair last week, and I went with my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, whose nickname is Rubber Ducky because she squeaks a lot, and my wife. I call her my first wife. That'll get her going. But we refer to her as La Jefa, the boss in our family. So the four of us went to the state fair, and it became very evident to me that pickle flavoring was very popular amongst a couple of our group, namely pouring pickle juice in a beer. Tried it. I can't say that I would ever do that again. And then
Must have been a bad beer.
oof. And pickle pizza. Pickle flavored pizza. Pickle and garlic pizza. So I don't know if there's an opportunity for something. I know one person in the state of Iowa that would buy it. Rubber Ducky just loved those pickle flavored stuff, Lucas. But that was our state fair experience last Friday.
that's interesting because we have experimented with a pickled beef stick. Just haven't quite got it right yet. But we do have a pickle dip that we sell out the front. If you know anything like the pickle roll-ups with the dried beef or ham wrapped around cream cheese, it's very similar to that, only in a dip or a spread.
That's a staple at the Larsen family Thanksgiving.
I'm going to say, but
Oh my! All right, well, I guess I'm going to have to get some of that for you on the list.
but it's in development, you said, right?
The sticks are still in there.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. The dip we sell out the front.
So we're sitting in the processing area of the Ulrich Meat Market. You can smell the smoke from previous efforts of the day. We walked through the showcase with all the products. I sampled some and I purchased some, and I'm trying not to eat it right now. And we're talking about all these flavors. We don't have a drink. We don't have a beer. We're just sitting here torturing ourselves. Poor planning prevents piss-poor performance. But you mentioned, we talked to you earlier, you said you were a deer hunter, but then you said you don't deer hunt anymore because of working here at the meat market. It's the grind that you're getting to that.
Yeah, it's the grind of getting it done. I got older.
You're in safe.
Maybe lazier. I didn't want to walk through the timber anymore. Just that sort of thing. So
Hey, we got guys like that too that are younger than Todd and I. So I'm just glad it's not because you weren't hitting the deer. So you're still hitting the deer. It's just the job took precedent. Well, Todd's been nibbling at this. How do you balance tradition with new product development? Do you still want to keep that Ulrich tradition, which is fantastic, and you want to put your flavor on things because you want to leave your imprint on the Iowa meat market industry? How do you balance that out?
yeah, we had recipes, the original bologna recipe for Pella bologna. So we kept that recipe the same, and we try to still smoke it over open fire to carry on that tradition. We're probably, I believe, one of 2 places in Iowa that still smoke product over an open fire, smoking. So there is technology out there that can do it better, faster, cleaner, but it's part of the process, as part of the fleet. So we've tried to hold on to that tradition as long as we can, but we know that it probably isn't going to happen forever. So
You said one of 2 places in Iowa?
yes,
Less than a handful. That's pretty fantastic.
Do you think it gives a better smoky flavor to the product overall?
I would say it's more of a unique, deeper, richer smoke flavor.
Yeah. So being an amateur who tries this on their patio once a month, is that a good start to get to the point where I could get into production mode? And
Yeah, you kind of start anywhere. That's where I started. I started on my back patio grill and smoker. So it's awesome. That's where I started. So I know a lot of the meat lockers around Iowa have had generations and generations of knowledge and experience. I unfortunately did not get to have that, so I have tried to learn it as I go.
Lucas, you do not know what you just said. Was it the first podcast we talked about Todd's brother that smoker broke down and decided to oven cook the products? There was too much fat in there. He didn't put a pan down there, and his oven filled up with the worst black smoke. I don't know that his wife was very happy with that, but they had one of the cleaner ovens down in South Central Iowa after that episode.
it's a minor detail. We tried something new with the ratio of fat and meat.
Fortunately, most of my experiments were outside on my own smoker and my own grill.
Let's put an asterisk there that, Todd, you can practice, but make sure it's outside.
That rule is in place all year long. I'm sure everybody's had that experience. If you haven't, we can help you.
So you're a non-traditional meat scientist in the meats industry. Do you use what's out there to help you? And Iowa State, Iowa meat processors, IDELs, things. Maybe IDELs doesn't help. They just be a pain in the butt. But anyway, do you use everything out there to your advantage that you can use?
Yes, I've learned in my lifetime to never stop learning. Always learn. You will never know it all. You know, we've had opportunities at Iowa State, has a very extensive meat laboratory that been to several small short courses there to learn whatever I can beyond what I already know, type of thing. So I've taken a couple classes at vendors that the equipment vendors that have their own equipment room and processing that do some courses of stuff too. So
Almost like a showcase room to come see there,
exactly.
learn how to use it.
So that's kind of interesting. Not to stray too far from where we're going. You've been doing this for 10 years at a 160-year-old business, and you're going somewhere to learn. And do you ever get there, have coffee, and start listening to them talk and go, I don't know if I'd do that again? Listen to what they have to say, or do you say, been there, done that, tried that, bad idea? Or the second question is, are you the teacher? Have you been the teacher? Because I'm sitting here listening after what you've shown us and what you've done and what you've tried. I'm like, do you offer the short courses, or who? It's a fair question.
Yeah, it's definitely a fair question. I'm always looking to pick up new information, and I'd say there's never been a course that I've taken where I didn't at least get some sort of little tidbit to take back and hurry my process on. And on the other hand, being the teacher, I would say those times have been more. So as the Iowa Meat Processors Association, we all get together once a year in Ames for a convention. So we share experiences, we share what's worked for us, what's worked, hasn't worked. So, you know, after being in it for a few years, I had my own stories to be like, hey, I tried this and it didn't work,
Little known fact that I've been a judge at the Iowa Meat Processors Association a couple years. The first year, they give the newbies the liverwurst or the Braunschweiger. Keep laughing, guys. And the second year, I think I got up to flavored loins, pumped loins, and things like that. So the amounts of participation, the amount of products up there at Ames that you get to try, and the dedication and the satisfaction of a meat locker, meat market that wins it's fun to watch as an outsider when you blindly taste this and write down your scores. And I did puff up after that weekend because I had a lot of sodium in my system that I had to drink more beer to help get it through. But you let IMPA, that Todd and I would love to be judges this coming up year, as long as we don't get the liverwurst. We don't want to start out there.
Yeah, or the Braunschweiger. I know it's the same. No French of that.
I believe they don't have that category anymore, so you are
Well, thank you. Okay. Whoop.
lucky. So
Too good. That's awesome. So you mentioned the competition. There are a lot of entries. How many's a lot? 10, 20?
I believe there is 20 categories of products, and I would dare venture there's anywhere from 10 entries to
30, 35 entries in each category.
Oh, wow.
I would say when I helped, it was at the Gateway Center there at Ames, and they had enough tables and products to fill up the whole bowl were there.
Oh, nice. Wow.
So yeah, I'd say at least, as Lucas said, anywhere from 100 to 200 products, depending on. Now, when I was there, more jumped in on the bacon side because it was popular, right? So, but there was a lot of product there, a lot of participation.
And there is a lot of pride around the state to get those plaques and then be the winner of that competition. We all compete pretty fiercely as local meat lockers to see who's got the best product.
Excellent.
Now, if I remember, is there the Iowa Meat Processors display in the same line where the butter cow is?
Correct.
The fair?
If you go past the butter cow and keep right on going all the way to the end, Iowa Meat Processors does have a display in that cooler, showcases some of the products from various meat lockers, shows the winners of all the categories from our February competition, and that I believe it also lists all the members of the association, so you can find your local locker if you're in search of that.
Awesome. I saw that this year.
Did you?
Yeah.
Because that's the same, the egg building where they give you the free egg on a stick.
And then the honey is up there.
Yeah.
And so in there a couple of times.
Well, so Lucas, I got to ask Lucas, do you have a rivalry locker or someone that you're like, I'm not going to let them beat me. They better not get ahead of me. Do you have one of those out there?
I can't say that I specifically have one locker.
You don't want to call them out, or you don't have?
Yeah.
I really probably don't have one. I really
They'll
don't
say,
have a specific one.
We took on the Kelsey brothers. Throw it out there. We're good. We're good.
I will say that, my interaction with IUPA, they're all helping each other. It's a good, I don't know that anybody has a hated rivalry other than bragging rights of, hey, I beat your bacon. So
That was one of the nicest things about being in the meat industry, that you have questions, you have issues, you need help with something. They're all in this together. Yes, we are kind of competing for business, but we all want to make a great product for the state of Iowa. So they will answer about any question that I have had, all the way down to probably their secret recipe. But if you want a better smoke schedule or program, I've had guys come in and help me tweak with my smoker to make it a little better. It is a very friendly community, and they've done a big part of getting me where I'm at today. So
That's neat. And so the camaraderie in working with people to solve a challenge. And and you mentioned you tried things, and I'm sure you've heard of other people. Sometimes experience is learning not to do the same mistake twice, whatever you want to define it. But every now and then, somebody has to come up to you and you think to yourself, why would you do that? Or why would you put those, or somebody does something. Why did you put duck in a meat stick? I don't know what it is. What's the strangest one you can recall?
as far as products, the strangest request that I've had is somebody requested the process of getting beef brain. Don't know what they were going to do with it. Don't want to know, but I was not able to fulfill that request. I did try. There is some regulations on that part of the animal that you're not allowed. So
I had to pass on that opportunity to have that product. So
Well, so along those lines, I just figured out what I was going to ask. What was it like during COVID here? Good, bad, and if they're the same? I mean, I'm curious because a lot of people stayed home.
yeah, it was when it first hit. It was pretty disheartening because we didn't know what to expect. We I don't think anybody knew what to expect. So we were just on pins and needles. Are we going to be able to keep operating? Is we going to have to shut our retail off? We didn't know. It ended up not slowing us down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we kept right on going and did the best we could to serve our customers. We did have to shut the wholesale part of our business off for a couple months just because of meat availability and prices were through the roof. We were down to a point where we were grinding sirloins to make beef sticks out of because that's what was available and that was what was, I guess, affordable to do.
But nobody complained about that.
No, nobody complained because it was what we had.
That's right.
Well, speaking of that, so you gave us the $50 tour, and it was awesome. But you don't harvest your animals here. You go out there and buy meat on the market to make your products, correct?
Correct. We don't harvest any animals on this location here or under our licensing, but so I'm out there searching vendors and suppliers all the time, trying to find affordable products to use. I've been lucky so far to get some opportunity buys to keep things rolling, but as everybody knows right now, the beef market is a little bit out of control, and I'm hoping it slows down before it gets worse. So
Unless you own cattle.
I understand what he's saying.
Well, so along those lines, do you get vendors coming in, equipment, casing, seasoning, spices, whatever? Do you get them coming in saying, hey, I've got the best thing since sliced bread. You guys need to get this.
yeah, like any business, there's people coming in trying to get more business to buy their products. So yeah, I have probably one or two salesmen a week, but that stop in to say, hey, I've got this, or hey, you need any of this equipment, or if I've got a select few that I work with and I'm happy with, so I haven't really gone too far beyond that. But yeah, we'd have plenty of interaction with companies that are trying to get in the door or get you to use their products.
Does their entry line start out with, you make a great product, but I think I could help you make it better? Is that when your radar goes up and you're like, oh man, I can't believe you just said that?
Oh yeah, I've heard it all. So
You said you used to process your own deer, and Todd, we've been processing our own deer 10 years now. I think we established in last podcast. Mix it with some good pork fat. So now all of our group that listens to this, and I hope all of them listen to this,
Hint.
they're going to think they could have their own meat market now and make their own meat. But the question, Lucas, is you guys, can hunters bring in deer here? Do they call you, coordinate it? Are you happy to take X number of pounds of deer a hunting season so you don't get inundated with a bunch of deer hunters?
yeah, we do deer processing in the fall. So we take boned out meat. We don't do any boning at this time. Just don't have the space or labor capacity to make it happen. So we do take boned out meat to process. We are very busy in the fall and holiday season, so we don't usually get to deer processing till January, but we process a fair amount for us. It's enough for us. So
Do you do that, or are there other locations that provide that service so you don't think of it to be here, or do you have customers that consistently come back?
Are you scared that the millions of people listening to our podcast are all of a sudden going to...
Yeah. Sauce of the stir and billet.
Well, yes, we'll take it. We'll get it done. So one way or another, but yeah, we have a good following. I keep a list of customers every year, so I see repeat names every year. So we have a lot of people that come back that love our product. So
Number one deer item made?
probably the deer bologna.
Yeah. Do you use the same seasoning, spices for your
Same recipe as the Pablo bologna. It's just out with deer.
That's an idea, Todd.
Yeah, I would love to try his.
Oh, well, Lucas, for us, we're fortunate to have a buddy that's got a heated garage, and everybody's got the equipment. Now we kind of get a method going. In one day, we probably process 10 to 12 deer, would you say? Somewhere around there?
On average.
On average, and we make sticks and bologna and jerky and sausage, breakfast sausage, Italian sausage. But it starts out with a lot of enthusiasm and willing to do stuff. And then the more beer we drink or whatever beverage that they bring, about 2, 3 o'clock, detail is not on our side.
We appreciate electric grinders. That's the very true point to that. And if it stops working, we all stop working. It's wearing out that athletes.
We've reached our capacity, Luke.
There you go. That's awesome. What did we cover everything you were interested in, Lucas? Or any surprises for what we're asking?
No, I don't believe so.
This is fantastic.
What questions? We're gonna turn. What questions do you have for us now that you know we're deer hunters, we're meat scientists, right? Yeah,
A scientist in the grinder is kind of how this is.
we love
Scientists that I'm
we love to eat.
Hands on.
Hands on. What did you think when you first got the request of, hey, these two idiots from Iowa want to interview you on their podcast?
Well, it's the first podcast I've been on, so
Boom.
yep. I didn't know what to think, so I thought, well, let's go for it, I guess.
As we walked in, nobody said it out loud, but I'm pretty sure we'll be checked for not having any product on our person as we leave.
So, Lucas, if somebody were to want to get Ulrich Meat Market products, how would they go about getting it?
So obviously we have it in our retail location here in downtown Pella. We also wholesale our products, our bologna, our beef sticks, and our summer sausage to various stores around most of Iowa for the most part. Most of the grocery store chains and convenience store chains. There's a few of our products are in. So just look in the meat aisle or ask your local meat manager if our product is there. They will probably be familiar with it, or you can put a request in and they will usually call our distributor and try to get it on the shelf if we need to.
Website?
ulrichsmeatmarket.com. You can order, we do ship products, so you can order our product online for shipping. So
Do you, as we sit here and think about the different offerings in the places they can be found, are you active in farmers markets? I'm asking, I don't know, but I'm curious because you see a person will see a lot of different products, but you have the square, you have a shop on a square, you're doing fine with walk-in business.
it comes down to availability and how much time you want to be invested into it. So we do a few shows around the state of Iowa, like the home show. We have a booth at the Iowa Home and Garden Show that we sell a lot of product out of. So we do a variety of those shows. We do not hit meat markets on the weekend during the summer because we're here.
It doesn't sound like you need to. I don't feel there's a portion of your process that's not being filled with utilities to produce.
Yeah. And you currently at this time where we're at, we're at full capacity. So adding more markets out there would put a strain on production. Mm-hmm. So, but that is soon going to change. So.
Whoa, I heard that too.
That's a sneak peek. So what's going to change about it, Lucas?
So we broke ground about 2 months ago on a new production facility. So we are looking to expand
Here in Pella?
Here in Pella.
Yes. Awesome.
So
Wow. You heard it here, folks.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow.
So new production, which means more.
yes.
That wasn't a confident yes. Like,
For simple people, what I heard was it will be the ability to do more, but your sales outlet on the square, I'm not going to ask you what you're going to do with it, but you'll never be able to give it up.
No.
But that's exciting. So you see something about the market and your product being able to satisfy the demand.
Yeah. As you guys seen, our facility is not very big here, and the amount of stuff we do in this facility, we have struggled at times. We spend a lot of time moving stuff out of the way to get to the other item that we meet, just because our footprint is very small. There's a lot of inefficiencies in flow and that sort of thing through our building that we want to clean up. We feel like there is a lot of hours of time spent doing that. We have an off-site location right now that we have a freezer location in. So we're transporting product into the building, we're transporting it back out to the freezer, then we're transporting it back to stock the shelves. So there's a lot of back and forth there. Getting that into one facility and one retail area will be huge, but we will definitely keep our retail location on the square. Moving production to a new facility will give us the opportunity to expand our retail and give us some more space for some new items and new things to offer to the community.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, and good luck with that, because and apparently 10 years ago was a pretty special day when you said, yeah, let's do it. You wanted to relive the stress and anxiety of change against you, and you're doing that.
A decade's all it takes, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Well, yeah, as we sit in here and the smoky aroma, they should make that a perfume so we can give it to our wives to have this aura around them. And we'll talk about that market.
No idea how many times that has been requested at our retail. Can you can that smell? Because we want to bottle it up and take it home.
You see, I'm not the only one to fix it out.
I'm with you. I'm signing you up. Well, that's exciting. How long had that been a goal?
Maybe a better question is, how long has it been discussed before you pulled the trigger?
Oh, man. We probably 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We had been looking at different properties around town, trying to find one that would fit, that was already available, and just couldn't really find exactly what we needed that would work the best for us.
Did you want to find land to build? Did you want to find a building on lands? I mean, what was the criteria?
We were looking for either or at that time. There was not much land. There was not many buildings for sale, but we looked at a couple. Didn't quite fit the criteria. The investment involved in the building with kind of making it what we needed it to do was better spent on just starting from scratch.
You're going to have to come up with, you mentioned your processes of moving this to get to that. And you walked us through what you have to do to get products ready just in here where everything's in one spot.
Yeah.
Now you're going to do that. So on one, you can streamline the process. You're going to have, it's going to be change. And sometimes change is exciting.
And scary at the same time.
Yes. No,
It'll be good. We're probably more excited than scared at this point to get to that opportunity.
Anticipated completion, I can see.
Hopefully sooner. We're hoping to be moving in there in the spring, possibly.
That's great. That's good for you guys. That's awesome. Love to hear that.
It's exciting news. Yeah. You heard it here first. Lucas, what else? As we wrap up, because I think we're about at the hour mark, as we wrap up, anything else you'd like to say? And I'll talk about the Iowa Meat Processors Association as we wrap up as well. Anything about Ulrich or anything that you want to say?
I've just been grateful to have this experience and this journey that I've been on. Grateful for the owners, Jamie and Nikki, to join me on this. Grateful for my wife putting up with the long hours, the unexpected shift coverages on weekends. She's been awesome to deal with me on some of that stuff. But that's about it.
Well, thank you, Lucas, and the Liars Club. That's a wrap on today's episode of Ag, Ammo, and Adventure. Big thanks to Lucas Van Wyk for bringing the flavor, the stories, and the locker side wisdom. If you are ever in Pella, swing by the Ulrich Meat Market. You'll leave with a full cooler and a better appreciation for the craft. And as we mentioned, everybody, on this episode, the Iowa Meat Processors Association represents Iowa's small to medium beef, pork, wild game, and poultry processors and allied businesses. Sourcing your meat from an IMPA member gives you the chance to know where your meat is coming from and to support your local economy. You can enjoy delicious, high-quality meats grown and harvested close to your home while supporting farms and small butcher shops near you. The past few years have shown us that these smaller independent processors are critical to ensuring our food security during times of disruption, so it's important to support them year-round. Even if you don't have an independent meat market in your town, chances are the grocery store you already frequent offers a variety of products from Iowa processors. You can find your local provider by visiting the IMPA website at iowameatprocessors.org. Member businesses offer a variety of expertise, products, and services. Some meat markets offer retail products you can shop in, you can stop in, and pick up anytime. Many lockers will work with you to custom process your farm animals or wild game, and a number of members sell wholesale to grocery stores and restaurants. Even if you don't have an animal or a farm connection, it's a great idea to reach out to your local processor to see if they can source a side or quarter of beef or pork for use so that you can economically fill your freezer to feed your family for months.
Don't forget, as we mentioned earlier, the 2026 Iowa State Fair Parade is coming and the Liars Club needs to roll deep. Our podcast challenge to the Kelsey brothers still stands. Travis, Jason, your move. If you like what you heard, give us a follow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave a review and share it with someone who knows the difference between a good brisket and a great one. Until next time, stay sharp, stay wild, and keep your ammo dry.